So the next match was Billy Gunn against QT Marshall in this tale of betrayal and resentment where QT has just broken out. And by the way, where was Cody? Cody was, we didn't see a lot of the EVPs. Maybe that's why the show didn't completely suck.
Well, have you ever noticed Cody's booking seems to be, I come out for a promo, I get interrupted, I have a match, you don't see me for 6 weeks. Yeah. It seems to be what it is because, again, Cody was the one that QT and his boys beat up, and now it's everyone but Cody until Cody makes his big dramatic return. They're defending Cody from QT Marshall and his gang of men.
Well, QT and Anthony Ogogo, the boxer, did an emotionless, memorized promo to start this out. And, I can understand Ogogo. He's British and he's green. I wish QT would have done a second take on that one because it's just, there's no realism in their tones of any of their voices. Anyway, this one had a jump start, but Billy Gunn jump started. He just attacked QT and all of his stooges, Solo and the caveman, Camarado. So the Billy Gunn, who's in the best shape of his life, it looks like, as far as cosmetically, I can see he doesn't move as fast as he did 25 years ago, but he's fucking 57 and looks like that. Amazing. But basically, he just beat the shit out of QT and any of QT's stooges. At one point, he shot QT off, and QT did the Ray Stevens upside down into the turnbuckle in the match right after Trent just did it. But they just do it. They just run and do it. They went through a nice little match, but there wasn't a lot of life or interest in this because of there's no interest in this issue. There was no oomph in this. It was, as I said, it's mostly Billy Gunn kicking QT's ass. So how good of a trainer did Cody pick to run his school if the 60-year-old guy can come in and kick the shit out of him endlessly? And then the kids and the Stooges got in a brawl at ringside. The Gunn kids and the fucking QT Stooges, they get in a big multi-man brawl, and you know what they did, Brian? You remember what they did, what we call it?
Lazy booking?
No.
Oh.
They fought off.
They fought off.
They got in a fight in one place, and of course, every time you get in a fight, you try to keep moving to where the end of your fight takes place, hundreds of yards from the beginning of the fight, right? They got in a fight, and they fought off. That's the way they call it in the finish, and you guys fight off. So they just fought out of the fucking outdoor amphitheater and are never seen again until the match is over. And then suddenly they reappear instantly. So the match continued. QT got a little bit of offense. Billy Gunn made a big comeback. And then QT takes a bump out on the stage. Billy goes and gets him, half-ass chucks him back in the ring. In a working way, acts like he's rushing to step into the ring, but meanwhile he's waiting on the guy, and Ogogo comes out and gut shots him again behind the referee's back. 1, 2, 3. So, yes, and for everybody who said, well, that's a real punch in boxing. Yes, of course it is. But unless he's really going to punch him in the solar plexus or whatever and knock the fuck out of him, it looks like shit in a fucking worked environment if you're going to have a boxer throw a knockout punch, have him throw it to the face. But besides that, the referees are turning their backs on shit that are happening 10 feet away from them that are making noise that you could hear. It's just, and it's all in the same shot. Anyway, rotten finish again. Billy Gunn got fucked 1, 2, 3, but there's an afterbirth. Because since there's the Rhodes family members involved, they got to do Dusty's angles over. Did you see QT Marshall go out underneath the ring, Brian? And in your altered state of reality, maybe you didn't believe your eyes what you were seeing. He pulled out a midget's wooden deck chair. It was like one of those wooden deck chairs. What do they call those? Adirondack chairs? Except it was only about 2 feet long. A human being could not have sat in this chair. A wooden midget's deck chair. which was obviously gimmicked from the start because he was holding it like a Fabergé egg. And when he swung at fucking Billy Gunn, no, Dustin came out. And QT swings the chair and Dustin ducks and he misses it and QT bends over and then sets the chair down gently on the ground and then stands up and turns around and takes Dustin's comeback. And then Dustin gets the chair and broke it over Camarado's head, the caveman who wasn't supposed to sell it because that's the idea. You break the chair over the guy's head and he doesn't sell it. But after they've shown that it was gimmicked, and then when he swung it, and it was a comedy chair to begin with, it was like they got a chair from some fucking toy company that puts it in doll sets, and it just flew into a million pieces, looked like it was made out of balsa wood. Was that the fakest looking, silliest looking, hit somebody over the head with a chair spot you've ever seen?
Well, it certainly was telegraphed. As soon as you see that wooden chair, not even talking about the size of it.
Yes.
But there are no venues with wooden chairs like that in 2021. When Dusty used it on Big Bubba, you know what? They're in the Carolinas. There's a chance there may be a chair.
No, there wasn't just a chance. Everybody at ringside was sitting in one. It was a chair from the back of the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. That's where they got it. In the fucking back. They've still got Crockett's old ring stored there 30 years later. But that's the thing. You had Bubba Rogers that was huge and already in a goddamn main spot and being pushed. And you have Dusty Rhodes, the biggest babyface in the company. And you have a chair that came from the fucking, I think it even said Memorial Auditorium on the underneath of the seat. But you have a chair that comes from the building. And then you break it, and it's a real chair to begin with instead of something you've built out of those model airplane wing things that, balsa wood or whatever. I defy anybody. Go back and look at this on video and watch Dusty Rhodes hit Bubba Rogers over the head with a chair. You tell me which one got over better. That's all I'm going to say. Let your own eyes be the judges. But anyway, last week, or 2 weeks ago, Cody did Bruno and Zbyszko, and that didn't work, and now they're doing Dusty and Bubba, and that didn't work either.
You know, if Adam Page teamed up with Anthony Ogogo, you know what the name of the tag team would be?
Page Ogogo?
Whiskey Ogogo.
Oh, I see what you did there.
This QT,
I'm just wondering when Anthony is going to go. What now?
This QT faction. Without even saying anything about the Caveman and Anthony Ogogo, and I don't even remember what the third guy's name is, to be honest with you.
Solo. He's Solo.
There's Solo, and there's Go-Go, and there's Caveman. I mean, it is like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Solo, Go-Go, and Camarado.
Well, there you go.
It's Hanna-Barbera.
Without Cody in the middle of this Nightmare Family versus Factory feud, does anyone care about this feud? All of a sudden, this feud that Cody was in the middle of, nothing against Dustin, and he took a lot of time to paint his face, it seemed like, this week for this segment.
Yes.
But Dustin's great in the ring. Dustin's not a pushed personality in AEW. Billy Gunn, he has a match every few months, and then we see him and his kids sitting in the audience singing songs and cheering people. The kids, they jumped the rail. They're now involved. Lee Johnson's back in the match next week. Without Cody there just isn't the star power for this feud. And that's not even getting into the actual booking of it.
And so I'm sure that some of them think that they're doing something for these guys. And I'm sure, of course, they've told these guys think Solo and Camarado and a Go-Go, oh, we're on TV. Like, this is good. These guys are so too green. They don't understand that they're just meaningless, interchangeable fodder. Nobody has put any thought into any of them individually. They just throw them out there. And it's giving people a bad first impression of these guys as green flunkies of some goof that runs a wrestling school that's mad at Cody's brother and hit him with a fucking fake chair. So instead of taking each one of those guys, making them an individual and focusing on their strengths and accentuating those and trying to eliminate or hide their weaknesses in limited exposure until they're ready to really go fully. Instead, they put them all in a fucking bunch and send them out there to do stupid shit with other people that ain't over. So now, even if they go to other companies, oh, that's the guy that was some fucking flunky in AEW. And that's why I say it's almost like they sit down and figure out how can we get the least out of the most.